me see. Yes, we should be live. Okay, so, hello hyperspace. My name is Davontos, and it's time to get hyped because I actually wanted to make a video showing you guys some tips and tricks that you can do in Overwatch, but I thought it would be much easier to do it in a stream format because I could just go to the practice range and I can just select each and every hero and show you their tips, well, more like common sense things that I see a lot of people messing up. Remember the video I made, I think it was my last video, about how not to use Moira? Well, I decided to actually, I should make that with every single hero because there's just a lot of bad players out there. And I just wanted to, well, show you guys some handy tips and tricks that you can do with each one of these characters, starting from the very top with D.Va. Now, one thing with D.Va, which not a lot of people know about, now excuse this controller's kind of busted, it's actually the only controller I have left, and my other controller does not have a mic input, so if I use the good controller, I can't talk to you guys. So I have to use the busted controller and commentate. So with D.Va, you can fly and shoot the missiles at the same time while having your defense matrix open. Not a lot of people know that. So let's say if I want to dive, well, let's like this robot right here. If I want to dive the robot, I can activate the jetpack, open defense matrix while I'm flying to him, and at the same time shoot missiles. And not a lot of people know that. Watch this. Fly. Oh, that was my bad. This controller feels bigger. 1 second. That's also why I wanted to do this on stream, so you can see all the mistakes I make. Okay, so let's try this again. We can fly. You see that? That's something that not a lot of people do. They just do like one thing at a time. You can multitask with D.Va. That's what's so cool about it. And let me show you. Let me actually fly straight forward to this guy and have on my sight so you can just see how much damage it does before you actually land on the target. Watch this. Ready? Look at his health and look at all this damage. Look at that. That took out half of his health, which means that did 100 health. So you can drain 100 health with that simple combo every time you dive somebody. Now what's up? Okay, so now let's actually show you a tip trick for Orisa. Now, when you're playing as Orisa, she is probably the most tankiest person in Overwatch, despite her 400 health. I know there are some guys who have 600 health, but here's a quick tip about Overwatch and Orisa. Orisa has these Fortify abilities, which gives her increased armor and less damage input, and she has the barrier, which everybody knows to use. You can juggle the two of them, and that would make Orisa very, very tanky. So let's say, for example, the enemies are shooting the barrier and then the barrier's about to break. By the time the barrier breaks, once it pops, fortify yourself and tank the bullets with your body. Once fortify expires, plop another barrier very quickly. And that would make Orisa very sustainable, that would make her very tanky, and she's probably one of the best characters to use to hold a choke. And on top of that, I know a lot of people know this, but her bullets are projectile based. As you can see, they're projectile based, which means you have to aim ahead of the target. You know, if I want to hit the robot, I aim ahead of him. Stop moving. I have to aim ahead of him. You see that? Aim ahead of him. I see a lot of people use Orisa and they aim at the person, and you're going to be missing the shots because, well, the bullets have travel time. They're not hit scan. So that's one quick tip about Orisa. Just juggle your abilities. Barrier first, barrier pops, fortify yourself, fortify expires, and then plop down another barrier. It's very simple, and it's very, very tanky. Overwatch, yeah, it's still very, very lively. A lot of people still play this game. Reinhardt! Now, there's not really much to know about Reinhardt. He's pretty straightforward. You got your barrier, you got your swings, but one thing that a lot of people don't know how to do is to aim his fire strike. Now, I know my reticle for Reinhardt's kind of wonky, but it's still a reticle. Wherever the center mass of the reticle is, that's where the fire strike is going to land. Now, I know when Reinhardt swings his hammer to launch the fire strike, that's what I mean. That's not me moving it. The controller's messed up. So, what I mean, anywhere where you press the fire button for your fire strike, that's where the fire is going to go, despite how many movements Reinhardt makes by himself. Watch this. He's going to move off of target, but the fire strike is still going to hit the target. Watch this. I'm going to press it right now. You see, it looks like he moves, so it makes you want to look down and launch forward, but just focus on your target, and wherever you go, whoever you're looking at, that's where the fire strike's going to land. A lot of people do this with Reinhardt, and they wind up missing. You don't have to launch it. You don't have to do like a launch animation. You can just look straight at the target, press it, and just carry on with your business. That's a very quick tip for Reinhardt. I'm not too sure. There's a chance that maybe some Overwatch people might make it in from the mecha base. I'm not too sure. Overwatch is all over the place when it comes down to characters. Alrighty, next up is Roadhog. Now, a really quick tip for Roadhog, obviously you have his slug rounds, and you have his scatter shot. If you're dealing with somebody who's a threat to Roadhog, like a Reaper, you can actually challenge Reaper assuming you shoot him first, and you do quite a bit of damage. So let's say, for example, that's a Reaper. Most Hogs would hook and then shoot the Reaper, but if that robot was Reaper, he would still be alive, he would pummel you, and Roadhog would die. If you want to deal with Reaper when you have Hog, the best thing to do is to shoot him first, hook him, and then finish him off. Because in order to kill Reaper, Hog has to hit him twice. That's one quick tip for Hog, and also, I know this is a bad habit with a lot of Roadhog players. I would try to suggest not to break this habit. Every time Roadhog gets like the slightest bit of damage, they retreat and then take their breather. His little breather thing fills up 300 health. So you'll be just fine as long as you're above 300, so you don't have to abuse the breather. On top of that, you do get ult charge when you take the breather, but your ult charge only fills up when it's healing you. So let's say you see how Roadhog has 600 health. If Roadhog just takes a little bit of damage, and I take the breather, look at his ult charge. It just has to fill up like, what, 70-something%? Look at this. That's it. Now if I actually have Roadhog take a ton of damage, and then I use the breather, you're going to see it fills up his ult much, much faster. So it's actually really reliable to use the breather when Roadhog lost quite a bit of health to fill up your ult charge. Let me get shot a few more times. Okay, now look at his ult charge. That was my bad, I took that stupid health back. Ah, you gotta record your mistakes live! that would have been edited out. Let me try it one more time. This is why I decided to do it live, so you guys can see my mistakes, and because usually it would take so long to do this actual, like, an edited video, because I have to get different clips from different characters and all that, but recording it live, I'm keeping everything! Okay, so let's get a shot a few more times, one more round. Come on, I'm just sticking to me crazy, he's not carrying by himself. Okay, now look at his ult charge. You see that? It fills up some more ult charge because he took some more damage. So that's one quick tip about Roadhog. Moving on to Winston. Winston is pretty straightforward, but one quick thing you can do with Winston, just for a quick little cheap shot, is Winston's pounce. When he lands, it does some damage. See, it took out about, what, like 50 damage? But one quick tip for Winston, when you jump on somebody, combine the landing with a punch, and you'll do a little bit more damage. So get this. I actually put a punch in there, but it didn't register. And you see how much health that took out. Let me show you with this guy one more time. Sometimes the animation might go in, sometimes it might not. I was out of range, but you get the idea. Just when you're about to pounce on somebody, combo with a little punch for that little extra damage. That's a quick Winston tip. Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball is one of my mains. As you can see, I already have golden Wrecking Ball guns. This is something I see a lot of Wrecking Balls do, and it just drives me crazy because I don't know why they do this. Now, you can go into ball mode as Wrecking Ball, and you can grapple onto something. When you grapple onto something, you can pick up momentum and swing. Sometimes you can swing in circles, sometimes you just launch yourself and be on fire and hit somebody, alright? I see this happen all the time with Wrecking Balls, and it drives me crazy. Let's say, for example, they want to go, let's say, in this room right here, right? They want to go in that room, and they land a bad hook so they can't grapple and propel themselves forward. They do this. Oh, I missed it. Let me just adjust myself while still holding onto the wall. Let me just adjust, just fix it up a little bit. No, I gotta pick up momentum. Just swing a little bit more. No, still not there. Gotta swing a little bit more. No, not quite, not quite. There we go, got it. Don't do that as Wrecking Ball. He has so much health. He has 600 health. Everybody's gonna be shooting at you when you're dangling from the wall like a Christmas ornament. Just stop. It's okay to miss your target, let go of the wall, and relocate. It's fine. It's completely fine. I don't know why Wrecking Balls like to dangle around every time they miss their target. That is a terrible thing to do with Wrecking Ball. Now, let me see that comment really quick. I see still the... Yeah, I'm still uploading Overwatch. Now, there's one more tip with Wrecking Ball, and it deals with his ultimate. This is something that, I know a lot of people do this, but also a lot of people don't do it, and I just want to touch on it very briefly. When you do your ultimate, you want to combine the ultimate with the ground pound, but the ultimate has to come first. Now get this. Because if you launch the ultimate on default, you know, the mines aren't going to scatter because he's low to the ground. The higher you are, the more the mines scatter. So we already know how small the drop box is. Very small aerial denial. Now let me get my ult again, and I'll show you just how wide it is when you combine it with a swing, and you combine it when you're in the air. On top of that, it's good to combine it with a ground pound because the mines have a set time. Once you deploy them, the mines will not activate. They will not activate that second. They take up about, I'd say about a second to 2 seconds to turn on. So what you want to do is combine it with a ground pound. That way when you ground pound, the enemies fly up and then they land on your activated mines. So let's try this. You can swing upward while you're airborne, flop the mines, ground pound, enemies are up, they fall on the mines. And on top of that, look how big this aerial denial is compared to the first one I showed you. So, 2 quick tips with Wrecking Ball. Always plop the mines first and then ground pound. And second, don't dangle. Dangling Wrecking Balls are just bad. I don't know why so many people do that. Stop doing that. Zarya. Zarya's pretty straightforward. One thing I want to touch on is Zarya does have this, which are her grenades. And they function just like Junkrat grenades, except they just don't bounce. Nobody uses those. Use those. They're powerful. I don't know why nobody uses them. And what you can do is, if you listen to Zarya's gun and look at her ammo count to the bottom of right, there's 100 in the magazine. Every time I shoot, it drains out. When her gun is about to run dry, it starts to sound different. Listen carefully. You heard that little warping noise at the end? You can combo that warping noise with a grenade. The grenades take out 25 ammo, so you can actually combo that when you have less than 25 ammo, and it would still do the same amount of damage. So you can laser somebody, and you can combo it with that. It's very simple. Just keep listening to when your gun's about to waste, and you can just get that extra bit of damage. Because the grenades would do more damage than whatever little bit of ammo you have left. And one more thing with Zarya is comboing the bubbles. You want to juggle the bubbles, you know, bubble your team, let them take damage, fire from the back, then go up in front, bubble yourself, fire from the front, retreat, bubble your teammate again, and so on. You don't want to deploy both bubbles at the same time because, well, that's a waste. I mean, if you bubble both bubbles at the same time, I say that 10 times really quick, bubble both bubbles. If you use both bubbles at the same time, it's not really going to work well for you. Ash. Quick tip for Ashy. Ashy's a hit scan, which means you have to aim at your target, and that's something a lot of people can't do in this game. For some reason, nobody can aim. So, she does have a headshot multiplier. You can shoot them in the head, you can do your bits of damage. You can shoot them in the body, you can do their bits of damage. One thing I like to do with Ash... would you be the last 2 DLC fighters since you... Oh, I actually have an idea for that video, for a Smash DLC. I'll probably upload that really soon. But, yeah, that Banjo and Kazooie thing, I called it. I called it. I knew it. That was Spiral Mountain in the campaign story mode. I just identified it on the spot. I had to make that video. But, for future Smash fighters, I have an idea. I'm not gonna, no spoilers now, but I'll make the video really soon. Okay, so, excuse me, Davontos be burping. Okay, so, with Ash, obviously her reload isn't the best. You can drain out all the ammo, and then we gotta stay here waiting for like 2 minutes until she reloads the whole gun. What I like to do with Ash is you can, you know, deal your damage, you can drain your magazine, and when there's no enemies, feel free to reload. But if there are enemies, and you're about to reload that massive magazine, toss dynamite. Keep them at bay. When it explodes, you'll be done. Simple. You can combo the reload with the dynamite, and just like Orisa, you can juggle it. And not a lot of people know that. And something else with Ash, which I've also seen not a lot of people do, if you're shooting somebody and you just have a few bullets to reload, you can just put 3 and press the fire button and she'll stop reloading. You can shoot some more, reload 2, fire, she's done. You don't have to reload the full magazine. You can just do this with 1 bullet if you want. Watch this. 3 out of 12, I can just Stop it. Stop it. And you can do this with the fire button. Not a lot of people know that. They actually want to fill the whole magazine for some reason, but you can stop her reload animation by just pressing the fire button and she would stop. And then one thing with Bob. Not a lot of people know this with Bob either. Let me get Bob really quick. Okay, so Bob has a jump. Once you call him, he's gonna plop on the floor, take one step, and jump. You can actually use that to get Bob to other places. Like, I can actually have Bob jump from here over the gap and land there if I wanted him to. Watch this. Let's do it from in here. I'm gonna summon him, he's gonna run forward, jump the gap, and land there. You can use this in multiple areas for chokes. Multiple areas for chokes and all that. Watch this.
Bob, do something!
You see that? He jumps. You can actually use that. Now, a lot of people don't know about that. He's a very powerful ultimate because he acts like another player. He can move payloads, capture objectives, and so on. And you can use his jump to get him to a lot of unique places. Okay, so let's move on to Bastion. Now, Bastion's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot you can do with Bastion. A lot of people already know about the jumping transform to sentry gun and so on. But you can do the same thing with his ultimate. Because his ultimate transformation actually takes longer than the tank transformation. So it actually makes sense if you're trying to get to a certain point of the map, before you transform into your tank, add a jump. So Bastion still has that bit of momentum as he's transforming. I'll actually show that to you guys now. Bastion used to be my main way back in the day. Before I discovered Diva. This controller feels weird, man. I'm using my other controller. Okay, so his tank transformation is a lot longer than his sentry gun transformation. So if you're trying to get to a location, instead of just standing still and then transferring to the tank, add a jump to it so you can keep your momentum. So let's just continue going. Jump, transform. So you just get that little bit of momentum, and then, you know, feel free to fire whoever you want. The tanks do 300 damage on a direct impact, and then it has splash damage. Yeah, apparently so. My streams aren't that popular. Doomfish. Yes, I have Doomfish. So, Doomfish, he's my worst character. Next to Genji. I suck with Genji. First comes Genji, then comes Doomfish. These are my two worst characters. So if you want Doomfish tips and tricks, don't come to me. Next character. Genji. Now, Genji, as I said, is my worst character. So Genji is he's a dive hero. He's like Tracer, which means Genji should not be diving Winstons, and Genji should not be diving into Symmetra nests. I don't care how good of a Genji you are, you don't dive onto your counters. Other than that, I can't give you any Genji tips and tricks because I suck with him, but there is one thing I can tell you guys, and that's about his extra jump for an ultimate. Now, I know not a lot of people know this because, well, they don't do it. Now, Genji gets his sword swipe, that thing. Every time he gets an assist or a kill, the cooldown resets. So you can actually, let's say, damage an opponent, right? Now, dash, get the kill, dash again, right? And you can combo that. Let me weaken this other guy, where is he? Okay, now let me weaken this last person and watch how I'm gonna combo the cooldown resets with the assists / kills. And watch this. Get the kill. Oops, my bad. See, this is I suck with this dude. See, I can't aim with this dude. I suck with Genji. But you get the idea. Every time you get a kill or assist, it resets your sword dash. Same thing with popping your ult. You can get a sword dash, pop the ult, and swing. Not a lot of people know that. Now, get this. Whatever. Let me just use one of these training bots here. I hate this guy so much. He's so bad. I hate him. Okay, so watch this. You can get the slash, activate your ult, and get a swing. I see a lot of Genji players do that, but don't take my word for it, because he's my worst character. Soldier 76? Yeah, we're gonna get to Soldier soon. He's coming up. Hanzo!
With every death comes honor.
Hanzo's, well, he's just an archer. There's not really much to touch on Hanzo. However, one thing you should know about Hanzo is his pulse arrow can stick on targets, and wherever the target moves, the pulse arrow will scan. So it would just stay on them. So they basically become a mobile radar. So you can stick him, and wherever he moves, you can see through the wall, no matter where he goes, because you basically just made him a mobile radar. That's something that not a lot of people know about Hanzo. Other than that, there's not really much of this dude because he's just an archer. And stop abusing this. They're weak. Now, if you guys don't believe me, that's one shot versus one standard shot. There's a damage difference. A lot of people like to rely on this, what is it, sonic arrow? Or rapid fire? A lot of people like to rely on it, but it's very, very weak. Only use it when you have to. Junkie! Yes, Junkrat. There's a tip for Junkrat. You see he has 1, 2 mines, and then you have to wait for it to cool down. You can actually get 3 of them. Now what you can do is just wait for it to cool down, plop down 1, and then wait for the other 2 to cool down, and then you'll get 3. Now I don't know if you're going to have the patience to do this, but it's nice to play if you're going to have, let's say, like a Junkrat on defense when you're waiting for the enemies to come to you. So you can just save up all of your mines, and you can get some extra movement. Now watch this. Detonate it, detonate it, detonate it. Well, that one actually pushed me downward, but you get the idea. You can save up Junkrat's concussion mines for more mobility. Other than that, he's pretty straightforward. McCree! Now with this overly powered character, I don't know why they buffed him. But first off, don't rely on Sanda Hammer because it's very inaccurate, and so many people rely on this to get kills. It's such a terrible idea. Second, with McCree, I see this happening all the time with McCree and Reaper. And what they do is they just hold down the fire button. Now, yeah, McCree did have that fire rate increase, so now he fires his gun much faster, but he still has 6 shells or 6 bullets per chamber. So if you don't have your target on the reticle, you're going to be missing most of your shots. Only pull the trigger when the target is on the reticle. So if you have to fire slow or fire quickly, do it, as long as you're letting those shots, because there's no point in playing McCree if you're missing every shot. So, you know, let's use moving targets, you know, only fire. So you just track them. Fire if you have to. Don't shoot if they're not on your sights. No, but just controller's messing up. I don't play with MLG people, but I consider myself above average. I'm no MLG player, but I'm above average. Most of the Overwatch community is within gold and platinum, and I was in diamond, but I dropped out of diamond because of teammates who keep making the mistakes that I'm showing now. One more quick thing about McCree is you can actually have a third fan the hammer, which I don't know if you want to sacrifice your ult for it, but you can do this. You can flashbang, fan the hammer, roll, fan the hammer, activate your ult, cancel it, fan the hammer again. And that's just for the fan the hammer maniacs. I don't know if you want to do that because you're going to sacrifice High Noon for that, but, well, that's a quick McCree tip. Moving on to May. This is very straightforward, but nobody does this, and I have no idea why. May can summon ice walls.
Let's see you get past this.
Hello, ice wall. You can wait for it to break, or you can break it yourself. I have no idea why May players never break their own ice walls. You can summon it and break it at will. And there should be a button on your screen for you to press in order for you to break the wall. It's not complicated. Because let's say, for example, you're trying to block a choke. And you see a teammate Reinhardt going charging instead of him crashing on your wall. Pop it for him so he continues going forward. It's so simple, but nobody does it. I don't know why. You can break May's wall. It's very, very easy. I'm a pro even in Smash? Well, thanks. Well, in Smash Bros, I'm really, really good. But in shooter games, not so much. My specialty is actually fighting games. But I'm still fairly good in shooters. And one more thing with May. Now, it takes a while for the character or your opponent to freeze when you're being frosted. You see, it takes a little bit. But they still slow down. So what you can do is freeze them, and when they're slow, get a cheeky shot, freeze them again, and then get a headshot to finish them off. Especially if they're tanks. Now, the only time you don't want to do that freezing, slowing down shot combo is if it's a character who jumps a lot, like Genji. With Genji, you just want to laser him down until he's completely frozen, then get the shot. But if it's a big clunky target, like a Bastion, or like a Roadhog, freeze them, and as they slow down, get the shot, freeze again, get another shot. It's a quick tip to get more damage as May. And always remember, you can bust May's wall yourself. You don't gotta wait for it to pop. Nobody breaks the wall. Okay, moving on. Pharah. I actually learned this tip from Power of Aura, who was a Pharah main. And to get Farah some more momentum, you can actually look down, fire your concussion blast, and then use your rocket boosters to fly up. And Farah would just be propelled like crazy. Now get this, watch this. Let me wait for the jump boosters to cool down. You can combine it with a jetpack. Watch this. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, nobody does that. It's so useful. You can use it to get out of spawn quickly or get yourself out of a sticky situation. It's so useful, but nobody does this stuff. Let me do it again. It's so fun. You can combine it with a jump, just to be safe, so when you jump forward, the concussion blast lands behind you. So, get this. Look at this. It's so useful.
Clearing the area.
Look at that. Look at that. That's like a Winston jump right there. Farah can do it too, but nobody does it. Why doesn't anybody do these easy things? Okay. Did you even see those videos? I don't think I've seen those videos, no.
Death walks among you.
Okay, with Reaper. Reaper falls under the same category as McCree. A lot of people like to hold down the trigger with Reaper and just hope to get their target in their reticles and land the damage. You can control him like a semi-auto character. You pull the trigger and he fires. Pull the trigger and he fires. It's very simple. A lot of people just hold it down and then just pray for the best and hope they land the shots, but you don't gotta do that. Reaper is ridiculously powerful at close range. He is the second best person at close range because nobody beats me at close range, Maze Bay. So you can, look at this, just one shot. You see how powerful he is? Take it slow. You don't have to spam the shots. You see that? Taking it very slow, you can land the shots instead of holding it down and hoping for the best. Just take it slow. Much better to take it slow because you'll be doing more damage, and you'll keep more ammo in your pocket just in case, because Reaper's reload is actually on the slower side. It may not look it, but compared to other characters who brawl at close range, his reload is fairly slow. Now something else with Reaper, you can use his Wraith or his teleport mid-air. So let's say if I want to go there, I can jump, activate it, and he'll teleport mid-air.
From the shadows.
Very simple, very useful Reaper tips. Just keep in mind, take it slow. He does a ton of damage, so you want to make sure you're landing every shot. Soldier 76.
We're all soldiers now.
Soldier 76 is pretty straightforward. He's the Call of Duty gunner, and just like Call of Duty, you can have rocket jumps. So you can actually aim down on the floor, shoot your noob tube, damage yourself in the process, but you get a little miniature leap, and it's a little difficult. I haven't mastered it myself, but it's fairly easy. Oh, look at that! I got it. See? A simple rocket jump. Just you have to time it right. Takes a little bit of practice, but other than that, Soldier 76 is pretty straightforward. One thing to keep in mind is his tac visor never aims for the head. It always aims for the body. My stick is messing up again. Okay, Sombra.
Everything can be hacked.
Now, with Sombra, I don't care what anybody says. I play a ton of Sombra. I have Sombra's golden gun. Sombra's... I mean, no, I hate 76 because the fans, like, keep overhyping him because he's a faggot. And you know, I hate the LGBT bullshit, but 76 in general, he's a decent character. I have no idea why they made him a faggot. I feel like Zarya would have fit that much better, but, you know, whatever, that's the story. But 76, he's pretty straightforward. Okay, so, with Sombra, I don't care what anybody says with Sombra. Sombra's gun is powerful. Look at how fast it drains the... Look at that, and those are body shots. Even from range. I'm gonna stand kind of far. Look how fast it drains the health. Sombra's gun is powerful. I don't know why people think it sucks. It has quite a bit of spread, but if you actually manage to measure it correctly and know where the bullet's gonna land, which is center mass, which is where that dot is, it's very powerful. So one quick tip for Sombra, which not a lot of people know about, is, okay, you could throw the translocator, you can teleport, and people will obviously see where you teleport. One thing to trick a lot of players, and I do this all the time, is throw the translocator, and at the same time, as you press the teleport button, go invisible. And you'll actually do both at the same time, and on the enemy screen, you would just completely disappear. So it would look like this. Throw it.
I'm out of
Look at that. And on their screen, they would see that you completely vanish. I don't know if that's a bug, but it works. and you should do it a lot. especially if you have to get a quick getaway if your translocator is not placed somewhere else. And one more thing with Sombra, you don't have to be looking at the target to hack, you can look away, and it still takes the hack. Oh wait, one more thing with Sombra that I wanted to touch on. EMP. You can combine the EMP with the hack for longer downtime. Especially on those barrier characters like Reinhardt. You can EMP Reinhardt, and he'll be hacked, which means you won't have a barrier, and then when you think the EMP is about to wear off, just hack him. And he'll be, well, vulnerable a lot longer. Moving on to Symmetra. I see this a lot with Symmetra. Oh my goodness. This is something that really bothers me with Symmetra. Her gun has charge. You tag a target, becomes more powerful. Tag a target, and becomes even more powerful to the point where it just melts people ridiculously quick. But you don't have to hold down the trigger. And I say that because I see Symmetras that they do this. They laser, getting more powerful, getting more powerful, okay, full power, and they just walk around like this. They just walk around with the gun active. I don't know why, but they just walk around with the gun active. You don't gotta do that. You can let go of the trigger. If you actually look at the back of the rabbit logo on her gun, that little blue screen, you see it has a charge meter? Full power, you see that? The rabbit has these three little rings inside of it. If you let go, they're still there. And then they start to decrease over time. You see that? And now it's back to power level 1. So if you have your Symmetra and you're lasering an enemy, you can let go of the trigger. Conserve your ammunition because it's gonna decrease in power regardless if you're holding it down or not. So don't walk around like this. You can let it go. It's fine. You can let it go, and you can freely. Oh jeez, these Symmetra players. Just don't hold down the trigger. You don't gotta do that. Next up is Torbjorn. Now I'm actually playing a lot of Torbjorn, and he might be my next golden gun. So one thing about Torb is the turret will target whoever you shoot. So the turret's either going to target somebody on default, or if you shoot somebody, the turret's going to leave that target and fire the person that you shot. So I'm going to place the turret and watch that it targets who we're going to shoot at. Okay, this guy, now I'm going to damage you. You see that? It changes. Let me damage him. You see? It changes target. So you can actually use that to make the turret target whoever you want to target. You can even do it with a shotgun, so... You see? It changes if they get hit by one of the shotgun pellets. It's really useful if you want to target a specific character. And there's one more thing about Torbjorn, and that's his ultimate. His ultimate spews out lava all over the place, and it happens very, very quickly. But what you can do with Torbjorn is just treat it like a semi-auto weapon. You can tap it for more lava coverage, if you want to use that word. Now, watch this. Pop the ult and just tap it. Tap it. Look at all this. Anywhere you want. Look at all this lava! Oh! Looks like Torbjorn had a good time. So you can just tap it. Now, it beats just spewing the lava all over the place and covering a little area. And if you pile the lava on one spot, it does not do more damage. The lava will do the same amount of damage as long as there's just a lava splat. Oh yeah, one more thing. When Torbjorn pops his ult, he still has 250 health, which means you're going to be fairly vulnerable. So what I would like to do before I pop his Molten Core is to pop Overdrive first, so he can have more health. Let me actually show you. So what I would like to do is I pop Overdrive and then Molten Core, so I can be a little more tanky as I'm spewing my lava all over the place. Alright, let's move on to somebody else. Yes, Sombra and Diva. Those are my two favorites. Tracer! Now, I used to play a lot of Tracer back in the day, so a really quick tip for Tracer is, just like Orisa, juggle your abilities. So you can do some damage, you can blink around, you can do some more damage, you can continue blinking around, and you just continue going and going and going, and if you happen to get caught, you can rewind, and by the time you rewind finish, you still got some more blinks. It takes a little getting used to, but it comes in handy if you're playing a lot of Tracer. Widowmaker. Oh, I see this happen all the time with Widowmakers, and you Widowmaker players, you really gotta stop. First up, Widowmaker has probably the most deadliest weapon in the game because it's capable of one-shot kills on most characters if you get a headshot. However, that's not her only weapon. Well, yes, Widowmaker is a sniper, so you can get those one-shot headshot kills, but Widowmaker also has what I call a submachine gun. I call it a submachine gun because it has terrible hip-fire spread and it's very weak. So, you can use this. Granted, it's not the most powerful gun in the game, but if a Winston dives you, you don't just stand there trying to land a lucky headshot on Winston. Winston has 500 health. Even if you do land that lucky headshot, he still has an extra 200 to take you down, and he's not going to get shot a second time. So if Winston dives you, just spray him. Spray him, trust me, you're probably going to be doing more damage, because if you miss that one headshot, you're kind of screwed. So just spray him. Spray Winston, and then get a quick escape. There's nothing wrong with using Widowmaker's little submachine gun. There's nothing wrong with it. I have no idea why everybody just wants to use this and only this, but keep in mind, she has a submachine gun, and it can be very useful in certain situations. Ana! Almost finished here, and I'm going to stop the stream. Okay, so Ana. Ana's pretty straightforward, but keep in mind, Ana is a healer. Therefore, you have to heal. I see a lot of people take Ana, and then they pretend that she's Widowmaker, and they just go sniping. It's weak. Now, Widowmaker has that one-shot headshot potential. Look at Ana. At point blank, to the head. Come on, buddy, stay still. Look at that. That's weak. I don't know why people want to snipe as Ana. Don't snipe as Ana. The only people you should be sniping are the teammates. Stop sniping the enemies. Ana is a very, very powerful healer. She can, well, the best healer in the game at the moment is Moira because she does the most heals, technically. But Ana can give Moira a run for her money if you combine that with a grenade. It's very, very powerful. I don't know why people want to play Widowmaker as Ana. It's pointless. For that, you just go play Widowmaker. No ending the stream, Davontos. Yeah, pretty much. I'm probably not going to pop up until like a couple of days or weeks. Okay. Up next is Baptiste. Now, Baptiste, his gun is actually fairly powerful for a DPS, for a healer. I would say it's almost as strong as Soldier 76's, but what you got to keep in mind is Baptiste is a healer. And his heals have splash damage. Look how big the splash damage is on these grenades. Anybody who's hit by that splash damage will get 60 heals. So he does 60 heals per shot. So it's 60, 60, 60, 60. That's insane. You want to be landing the shots. Don't play Baptiste as a DPS. Only use Baptiste as a DPS when you really, really have to. But if you want to play a DPS gunner, you're better off taking McCree or Soldier 76. And one thing to do with Baptiste, I know a lot of people have a hard time aiming his grenades. Wherever your reticle is aiming, that's where the grenades are going to fall. Right underneath your reticle. So if I want to hit over there, if I want to hit, let's say, okay, see that sign right there? Caution. If I want to hit that, aim above it. The grenades will land directly under your reticle, no matter how far it is. So if I want to hit that little light right there, aim above it. You see that? So wherever your reticle is at, the grenades will always land under your reticle. Doesn't matter how far. Even that little down there. See that line? Just aim above it. Right there. See? Simple. Wherever your reticle is at, the grenades will always land underneath. Brigitte. Now, I'm not really going to touch on Brigitte much because she's going to have a huge rework next week. So I might make a tips and tricks video for the new Brigitte, so let's not touch on her. Lucio! Lucio is a healer. What's the best tank in the game? The best, well, it depends on the comp. I'll get back to Lucio in a bit. It depends on the composition. I would say the most versatile tank would be D.Va, but D.Va doesn't fit in all of the compositions. Like you guys can run, let's say like an Orisa, and D.Va doesn't really pair well with an Orisa because Orisa's stationary and D.Va has to be on the move. So if you're going to play stationary tanks, you know, Orisa would combo well with maybe a Roadhog, you know, that Orisa Hog thing. That would be very powerful, but D.Va and Winston are powerful for dive. Zarya pairs well with every single tank. And Wrecking Ball is kind of like a big giant tracer. So It just depends on the composition, but I would say the most versatile tank would be D.Va, because D.Va's good at close range, D.Va's good at long range, D.Va has a barrier, technically, and she's the only character who gets, I would call, an extra life, because if your mech gets destroyed, you pop up as Baby D.Va, so you can kind of limit the amounts of deaths if you retreat as Baby D.Va. So, D.Va is the most versatile, but I wouldn't say she's the best. It just depends on what your team is doing. Okay, now, Lucio.
Yeah, let's pick it up. Come on, let's bring
Lucio's a healer, which means you have to keep healing, which means you want that active. I've seen so many Lucio players keep this active, and your team's getting slaughtered all around you because you're not keeping them alive, because you're too busy wanting to play Spider-Man, jumping on the walls and swinging from point to point. Stop doing that. He's a healer. Activate the heals and amp it up to heal the team, Lucio. Stop it. And on top of that, Lucio isn't a DPS. Lucio's gun is weak. Look at this. That's weak. And his boops don't do that much damage either.
push on.
That's weak. Stop using Lucio's as DPS. Play somebody who's a real DPS and heal your team as Lucio. Granted, you can activate this speed and move your team to different locations, but don't keep it up. If you're holding down a point, keep this up. Okay, that's and one more thing with Lucio. I don't know why this is still a thing, but Lucio's ultimate is drop the beat. I don't know why a lot of people think the higher you are when you drop the beat, the more health you get. It doesn't work like that. He's always going to give you, I think it's like 500 health? I'm not too sure because I don't really play a lot of Lucio. I play a ton of healer, but Lucio wasn't one of them. He does the same amount of health no matter how high you are when you drop the beat. The only thing you're doing when you drop the beat from a really high spot is making yourself vulnerable because you can't do anything as you're free falling before you hit the ground and drop the beat. So let me actually show that to you really quick. Okay, so you see I have my ult. I'm ready to drop the beat. No, I almost had that jump. Okay, let me start over. It doesn't matter how high you are. When he drops the beat, everybody will get the same amount of health. Now look how vulnerable I am as I free fall. Look at this.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
I was vulnerable that entire time. So just drop the beat. You don't gotta jump and drop it. Just press the ult button and drop the beat. It's gonna have the same effect. No, all the way around it's gonna have the same effect. Now welcome to the stream. Mercy! Two things with Mercy. Mercy is probably the most vulnerable character in Overwatch because she just has a dinky little pistol. So when you're coming out of spawn or you see you're by yourself, walk around with the pistol. I've seen a lot of times that Mercies come out of spawn and they're walking around with their big stick like if they're ready to whack somebody. But I mean, would you rather walk around vulnerable with a big stick or would you rather walk around with a little gun? It's something. It's better than the stick. So just walk around with the gun instead. And then when you see your teammates and they need some heals, then you can pop the stick and start healing them. Now there's one more thing about Mercy. She can actually get a quick little boost to her Guardian Angel. You know, when you lock into a teammate and you fly to them and then she lands. When you're about to land next to your teammate, press the jump button and she's going to get a quick little oomph to her flight. Watch this. I'm going to lock on. This is default. Alright? So now I'm going to go a little further, or about the same spot. Okay, now I'm going to press it. I'm going to tap the jump button right before she lands, and she's going to get a quick little oomph to her flight. Watch this. You see that? You can actually use that to stay in the air longer with Pharahs, or you can use that if you see an enemy and they're kind of far away, or a teammate and they're kind of far away and you want to get to them much faster. You can use it beforehand too, so I can fly and then press the jump button. You see that? It picks up speed. You can use that to get to destinations much faster. And one more thing about Mercy that I also want to touch on, and it's with her Valkyrie. Now you see her gun, she has the weakest gun in the entire game. Baby D.Va's gun does more damage than this. So one thing I want to touch on with Mercy, which I see happens all the time, and I don't know why people do it, is when they pop Valkyrie, all of a sudden they think they're invincible. Mercy, she still has 200 health, she's still very squishy, and even if you pull out your gun, yes, it has unlimited ammo, but it still does the same amount of damage. So people pop Valkyrie and then they start flying around the place acting like they're some kind of AC-130 gunning down the entire map. It doesn't work like that. Fly and heal your team because she has AoE healing. You see how it pairs up with the other guy? I'm targeting him and it tags him as well. So you're better off just popping Valkyrie and healing instead of popping Valkyrie and just taking out your gun. I don't know why people do that, but they do. And they shouldn't. Let me see. You should know how the videos on Smash I can help. I can probably do that. It's going to be a little difficult because I don't have my Switch connected to YouTube. I'll see what I could do probably in the future. Moira. Now, I touched on this on the last video, but I want to touch on it one more time. A lot of people like to play DPS Moira. I have no idea why they want to play DPS Moira, because Moira's energy drain is so weak. Look at this. It's so slow. It's... Okay, I know I said... I know I said Mercy's pistol was the weakest, but I would technically say this is weaker. It's just easier to get the kills because it locks on and it has, well, it's just easier to aim with. But you're better off just taking out Mercy's gun and gunning with that than you are trying to drain the enemies with Moira. Now, one thing I see a lot of Moira players do, and this is terrible and you should never do this, is they play DPS Moira and they're slowly doing some damage. And once they finally do enough damage, they finally earn their Coalescence, which is possibly the second best healing ultimate in the game. And then when they earn their Coalescence and they're ready to go, they feel like a super tanky Moira. What's the first thing they do with their Coalescence? They pop it and they use it to target enemies. And Coalescence does the same amount of damage as this. That's right. Coalescence does the same amount of damage as this. I don't know why people just treat Coalescence like a Kamehameha and try to laser down the enemy team. It's not gonna happen. It's weak. Look at this. Energy drain. Look at the health. You see that? Now I'm gonna pop that super powerful Kamehameha that everybody uses. Look at the health.
Surrender to my
It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. I don't know why Moira players just pop Coalescence and try to charge in there like if they're unstoppable. It's the same thing. As a matter of fact, you can combine the orb with the energy drain and it does more damage than Coalescence. Look at this. Look, he's already almost dead. You see that? That's more powerful than Coalescence. Stop using Coalescence as a DPS ability. It's terrible. Now, Coalescence is very powerful when you're healing teammates. You know, I agree with you, Jum. Those are the worst. I have no idea why Moiras do that. It's bad. There's no way to say it. It's just bad. So let me show you guys how much healing Coalescence can do to the team. It's insane. It's almost as much as Transcendence. So let me just wait for these guys to get some more damage. They're probably going to wind up getting killed before I earn it, but... I just tossed it over there. Okay. You see how low his health is? Look how fast that... Look at this. That's almost like Transcendence. You can be using that on your team. You can make your team nigh indestructible. But instead they want to just tickle the enemies with their weak little Coalescences and barely get a kill. So stop being DPS Moiras, please. You have no idea how powerful she is. She is the best healer in the game. This little orb heals 300 damage. Combine that with this, and you've become a healing machine that's almost unstoppable. On top of that, you can disappear and reappear at will, and nobody can catch you. You are the best healer in the game. But people want to do that. So just stop. Okay, now last character. Zenyatta.
True self.
Now, Zenyatta has a little trick, and this trick only works at close range. Now, I've never seen anybody do this, and I've tried it multiple times when I'm dived as Zenyatta, and it's ridiculously powerful, and it's my little secret, so I can't tell you. So let's go on to something else. With no, I'm just joking. With this Zenyatta trick, you can actually combine the orbs with a kick. And he does it. I guess it's a glitch. I have no idea. But he does it so quickly. He actually fires 2 orbs and a kick for maximum damage. But it only works at melee range. Now get this. We can see him. Look how fast it's going to happen. You just have to, once he's in the animation for this, you have to press the kick button right away. And you're going to see that Zenyatta glitches. That glitch fires a second orb. So you fire 2 orbs with a kick. Look how much damage this does.
Your setback is only temporary.
Did you see that? Let's try it again. That's a little trick I have with Zenyatta. Not a lot of people know about that, and if their Discord, it'll do a lot more damage. But that only works at close range. And if they're outside of close range, you're just going to slow down your fire rate. So I'm going to do it from far, and you see, it slows down his fire rate. It only works at close range. So if they're close, fire, and while he's extending his hand to shoot, quickly tap the melee button, and he's going to fire twice with a melee attack for more damage. You see that? It's ridiculously powerful, and if you're dived, or let's say if you're hooked by a Roadhog, and Roadhog doesn't kill you on the first shot, you can do that, and it would take out a ton of his damage, and he might actually retreat. And if you're dived by, like, Genjis or Lucios, then just feel free to do that for an instant kill, and, well, you'll be all set. Other than that, one more thing I want to touch on with Zen is, obviously Zen's orbs are fairly powerful. Discorded, it does more damage. And his healing isn't the best. He actually does the slowest, he is the slowest healer in the game. But he makes up for it for his really high damage output, especially that little secret that I just showed you. I think that secret's a glitch, because I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. but with Coalescence, when Zenyatta pops Coalescence, you can use that as an opportunity to push. Like, you know, push through a choke. I see a lot of people pop Transcendence and they just stay standing there. You can pop it and then slowly glide your team through a choke. Not quick, because when he pops Transcendence, he goes buzzing around the place like a mosquito. You can just move slow, so your team can, you know, stay next to you or in front of you. As long as you pop it and you move within your team speed, because if you go quick, they can't keep up with you. Just go slow. Go slow, help them through a choke and all that fun stuff. And, well, that's basically about it. Let me see. Did I touch on everything? If you guys have any questions, you can let me know before I end the stream. Let me see. We got Diva down the way, we got Arista's juggling, we got Reinhardt straightforward. We got Roadhog, Winston, Wrecking Ball. Is there anything else with Ashe that I want to touch on? Yeah, actually, there's one more thing with Ashe. Now, a lot of people know that you can throw the dynamite and then shoot it to blow it up, but you can actually use the shotgun to blow up the dynamite as well. And of course, it only works at close range, and it's not always going to work because the shotgun, you know, the pellets scatter. But if you want to get that desperate attempt, like if you're dived and you're like, screw you, if I die, you're coming with me, just plop it down and well, you kill everybody, including yourself. So, so you can use that like a kamikaze technique. And 9 out of 10 times the shotgun would work depending on how far it is, because if you throw it far, see, that time it worked, sometimes it doesn't. Will you upload this stream? Yeah, this stream will be, it'll be instantly uploaded once it's closed. I'm going to close the stream in a bit, and then give YouTube about, I'd say 20 minutes to render the whole thing, and then it should be up on the channel. Let me see. I would love to give you guys tips on Doomfist, but I suck with this guy so much I have no idea what to do with him. Same thing with Genji. Those two are my worst. Let me see. Hanzo's straightforward. Junkie is pretty straightforward. Let me see. McCree is good. Mei. Is there anything else? Because Mei is actually my second best character. Is there anything else I can teach you with Mei? Oh yeah, one thing I can teach you with Mei is to use the ice wall to get to locations. Like you can actually get up there with the ice wall, just turn it, and then summon it, and then just break it at will. I actually do that to troll people in Temple of Anubis. So you guys know in Temple of Anubis when you're defending, once you leave out of spawn and you make a left, and you keep going straight, there's a broken bridge. What Mei's wall can actually fill the gap for that broken bridge, and you can summon it, and you can walk on it, and then when you see a teammate's about to walk on it, just pop it and have them fall down to the floor just to mess with them. They're still gonna fall, you know, they're still gonna go to the objective either way, but you know, you can use it to bridge the gaps in multiple areas. One more thing with Mei. Mei is gonna see herself in a lot of sticky situations where she's gonna have to cocoon herself. When she's cocooned, make sure you pop the wall. Now, I said this earlier in the video, you can pop Mei's wall, but each ability has a 10-second cooldown, so just so it can work better in your favor, pop the wall if it's still up when you cocoon yourself. So let's say, you know, you're doing some damage, and you have to call in a wall for something, and you're doing some more damage, and cocoon, pop the wall. That way, you're up, do some more damage, and then right away, your next wall is available. Basically shortening the cooldown time for your wall, because when you're in a cocoon, well, nobody's really doing anything, so take the advantage and have your wall on cooldown. Let me see, Farah. What else is there with Farah? Justice, right. Farah's Justice. Now, Justice is like a giant shotgun. It scatters all over the place, so you want to be fairly close with Justice, but not so close that you blow yourself up, obviously. But I've seen a lot of Farahs... Excuse me, 1 second. Davontos has to burp. I've seen a lot of Farahs pop Justice from very, very high up. I don't know why they pop it from very high up, but it's not gonna get any kills. Justice is actually the most powerful ultimate in the game if you go by damage output. It's not Diva's nuke, it's actually Justice. I believe Justice, if you land every single missile, it does over 3,000 damage. While Diva's nuke just does a straight up 1,000. So, let me actually show you Justice from high up. Now, if somebody sees a target, let's say like that robot, I know he's not going to die, but they go high up and then they launch Justice. Look at all the scatters! It's so wide. If you actually do it from closer, assuming you don't blow yourself up, you would kill him much, much faster. Let me see. We got Reaper, which was straightforward, 76. We got Sombra. What is there to do with Sombra? One more thing with Sombra, I would say. What the hell are you doing here? Okay. So one thing with Sombra is, as she's hacking, she takes damage, and it cancels the hack. So you can be, like, hacking, and then... Well, he wasn't hitting me. But when you hack somebody and you take damage, it cancels the hack. So make sure you're only hacking somebody when you know you can get it through. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait, I believe it's 2 seconds. Let me see. What else can I touch on? Symmetra. Yes! One tip about Symmetra, I see this becoming fairly popular. It's a very cheap trick, and it's not really going to work against good players. But if you want to do it against, like, you know, bad enemies, and the enemies don't know what's going on, what you can do is you can plop the turrets, like let me target these guys. You can plop the turrets down outside of range, like right here. And then when you plop the turrets down, you can activate your teleporter, and the teleporter will manually bring the turrets over for some cheap damage. It's very, very cheap. It's like a weird technique, and good players would instantly target the turrets and destroy it. But if you want to get some cheap Symmetra damage, then feel free to do that. Just be aware that your turrets do have a long cooldown time, and you're going to be risking all of your turrets for that cheap technique, so I wouldn't really recommend it unless you really, really got to. Let me see, more Sombra? Pick Diva or Sombra? Yeah, Diva and Sombra are like my favorite. And Mei. If I would say Diva first, and then Mei, and then Sombra. Let me see, Torbjorn. I believe I touched on everything with him. I touched on everything with Tracer. Widowmaker's good. Yeah, that's basically about it. Oh, wait, one more thing with Baby Diva. Now, this is a technique with Baby Diva that nobody does. For some reason, Baby Diva is powerful. You have no idea how powerful she is. A lot of people think she sucks because she's just a little girl with a pistol and she's technically the shortest character in the game. No. Baby Diva is a savage. And I should know because I'm a Diva main. I play Diva a lot. And let me show you how powerful Baby Diva is. Okay, you can call the mech. That's actually what the community calls her, Baby Diva. Now, look at the damage in this weapon. Yeah, it's about as much as Mercy's damage, which is I think 10 or 20 per shot, but she fires it quick because she's a gamer and gamers got them fast fingers. Look how much damage this does. I didn't even have to reload, I could actually land that last shot. And one thing about Baby D.Va that nobody knows, Baby D.Va is a counter to Bastion. And the reason for that is she is so short and she is so small, you can dive on a Bastion as Baby D.Va when Bastion is in his sentry gun mode, and you can just dance around him, and she is so tiny, Bastion cannot hit you. And that's because how small she is. And I do that all the time because Bastion can rip her mech to shreds. So when that happens and your mech is just destroyed, pop up as Baby D.Va and just dive Bastion. Circle around him and just act like an annoying little fly. Bastion cannot do anything. And so, Baby D.Va, this girl's powerful. And well, that's basically about it. I'll touch on the new Brigitte when she comes out next week because she's going to have a rework. And I'll get a hang of Sigma when he comes out next week too, and I guess I can give you some Sigma tips and tricks. It's going to take me a while to figure out those Sigma tips and tricks, but it'll come eventually. So, if you like this video, Baby D.Va sounds like a... It could be. The community calls her Baby D.Va, so that's how the community knows her. Oh man, so if you like this video, punch that like button with a mighty force. You can follow me up on Twitter at DavantosMan. And as always, I'll see all of you in the next video. Have a nice day. Now, how do I end the stream? What do I do? Is it this? Yeah, stop broadcasting. Okay, alrighty. Have a nice day.